utilities being turned off before she even filed an eviction.
It sounds like your roommates did it. These folks on the lease at all?
No, they were not on the lease. Jamal and Kiana had moved out of the property over 2 months ago. This is a rooming house, so they were splitting the rent. They're the only two that are remaining.
You
Yes,
rented
ma'am.
from them and not her?
We don't have a
So
leasing
this
agreement with
is
her. We have an agreement with them.
so this is like a sublease. It doesn't sound like you have an actual landlord-tenant relationship with them.
Today, we're just outside of Atlanta in the DeKalb Dispossessory Court, which is a fancy way of saying the landlord-tenant docket. The owner of a house is trying to evict a couple of tenants. She sued for 1 month's back rent, and she wants her house back. Fair enough. It was all going swimmingly until one fact came to light that threw a boulder in her way.
That is a nice boulder.
Of course, it doesn't help that none of these folks are familiar with the legal process, or in a few cases, communication at all. But the judge gets past all the weirdness and makes the correct decision. Let's roll notes.
All right. So if I can get Ms. Hollenquist, Ms. Stalls, and Mr. Scudder, if you all could please unmute, I'm going to place you all under oath. Y'all could please raise your right hands. I'll make sure it's your right hand. Okay. So Miss, just in summary, Ms. Stalls, you are the owner of this property at issue?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you're stating that rent is, in your pleading, you stated $3,050 was due?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what's in the monthly rent is what?
So the monthly rent is $2,500. The late fee is $175, and the filing fee is $375. So I think we got some numbers wrong.
I'm sorry, what's the monthly rent again?
$2,500.
Okay.
$2,500.
And so, Ms. Hollenquist, I'm going to address you. You're the one that filed the answer, so technically, you're the one sort of on the hook for the money judgment. Oh, yeah, Mr. Scudder, you also filed one.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you're both okay. So you both are you saying it's each separately $2,400 counterclaim, or is it just a total $2,400 counterclaim?
It's together. If she's talking, you're talking to us, right?
Talking to both of you guys. So you didn't mean 4,800. You meant $2,400 for the both of you, correct?
Correct.
Ms. Hollenquist, you're going to need to you're going to need to stop walking around. The connection gets worse when you're moving. We can't really. It's hard for me to hear you.
Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you a little better now, but you're kind of coming in and out. Okay, so. All right, folks. So let's see here. What is the count? So you guys didn't put any detail in your counterclaim. So it's going to be, and you said that there's a $2,400 counterclaim, but there's no description. Oh, wait.
Oh, no. Wait. No, you got a $2,400 counterclaim?
Yes, ma'am. You each put a $2,400 counterclaim.
Yeah, no. I think we were confused. I think we were just trying to state that rent was not 3,000 or whatever she had wrote it out to be. We were saying that the rent was actually 2,400.
Okay. All right. So Ms. Hollenquist, I do need you to stay in the camera, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay. So you guys you don't really have a counterclaim. You're just disputing what she's saying you owe. Is that correct?
Yes, we were disputing that.
Okay, Ms. Hollenquist, is that accurate? That there's no actual counterclaim for any sort of repairs, or you're just saying we don't owe the amount she says?
correct.
Is that right? Okay,
No.
so according to
I'm sorry, Judge. Unless there should have been a file for the lights and all the utilities being turned off before she even filed an eviction.
Ms. Sauls, did you turn off their utilities?
No, ma'am. The property was leased to Jamal and Kenyatta Cobbs. I believe that they were the ones who had the lights and the water on and all the utilities in their name. 1 second, please. And I'm not sure what happened with that. They didn't inform me of anything being turned off.
So she's saying that she didn't have anything to do with that. That your roommates, I'm assuming they moved out. That the roommates that moved out, everything was in their name and they turned everything off. If she didn't actively turn it off, that's not going to be a claim for you guys.
Okay.
Okay. So if your roommates turned it off and that was something they did on their own, that's not going to be something she did. Like, you're right. If she had trying to get you guys to move, if she was in power, if she had the ability to cut the utilities off and she did that, that would be illegal. But it sounds like your roommates did it. Do you have any evidence that she did it versus your roommates?
No, I was just told that Jamal Cobbs was coerced into turning everything off so that way she would not file an eviction on anybody in the house. But that's hearsay, and I'm pretty sure it won't be used.
Okay.
So,
Okay, well then I'm going to go ahead and go forward on this. So what'll happen is, Ms. Stalls, you're going to go first. You're going to explain to me why, how much rent you believe these folks owe and why. And then I'm going to let, if they have questions for you, they can ask you questions when you're done. And then they will have a chance to testify, and you'll have a chance to ask them questions at the conclusion of that. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So this is position number 4. All right, ma'am. Do you have a lease with these folks, Hollandquist and Scudder?
No, ma'am, I do not have a lease with them.
The lease with the other named defendants?
Yes, ma'am, Jamal and Kenyatta Cobbs.
Were these folks on the lease at all?
No, they were not on the lease at all. I received a call from Ms. Quinte, and she stated that she was going to be late for rent. After she stated that she was going to be late for rent, she also told me that Jamal and Kiana had moved out of the property over 2 months ago, and I did not approve of anybody taking over any lease or anything like that. So when I got there, I did contact the police officer. I did not submit the police report to the court. I did contact the police officer, and I let them know that, I don't want to sign any other lease or update the lease. If you all leave within 3 days, you don't have to pay any rent for the month of, what was that, June. They stated that they wanted 30 days, and I let them know that I would have to go through with the eviction.
All right. So, Ms. Stalls, here's my question. You don't have a lease agreement with these folks. They did file an answer.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could go forward. Think about
Because
this
they've
for-
been living there. They got the lights, the water, everything turned on in their name. They've been living there, and I did give them the opportunity to vacate the premises, and they stated that they wanted their 30 days, I guess because of the eviction. So I just went ahead and did the eviction process. I did not know any of their names until the 3rd of June, which is when I believe it was either the 3rd, 4th, between the 3rd and the 5th of June. That's when I contacted the police to get their contact information so that I can file for the eviction. Now, this is a rooming house, so they were splitting the rent between several other people, but the other people have thus moved. They're the only two that are remaining.
All right. When is the last time you received a rental payment?
It was May 15th.
All right. And what is the monthly rent? Now they're saying it's $2,400. You're saying it's 25.
It's $2,500.
Okay. How am I supposed to know that, the difference there?
I did not submit the lease that I have, but it is $2,500. You can go with $2,400. It's only $100 difference, but it's $2,500.
All right. So 20. Okay. So everybody agrees that it's $2,400. Is that correct?
No, I agree it's $2,500.
You're stating it's, I understand, but Mr. Scudder and Mr. Hollandquist, you guys are saying it's 24.
yes, and we have text messages to prove the whole rent and late fee and everything too.
Oh, all right. Since there's no lease to present, and I'm just going to go with the lower number, $2,400. So when did you receive the last payment on May 15th?
Yes, ma'am. It was late for May.
They were current through the end of May.
Correct.
So you're just seeking for June $2,400. Well, that's the month you're asking for rent for June, and then 3 days of July. No, it would be 7 days. I'm sorry, it's 7 days of July. Sorry. So that's 7 days from today, which is going to be next. It'll be July 10th, $3,753.20. Do you think that is do you agree that that's a valid number or no?
No, ma'am, I don't agree. Because first she stated it was a rooming home. So she rents the home out by rooms. We never initially paid the full amount of rent. It's still tenants other than us that's still in the home right now.
Okay, is this the amount of rent? Oh, is that what the total among all those people is supposed to pay?
It's split.
So I'm not.
$2,400 is split between the rent, the rooms. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's technically a 5-bedroom home.
Okay,
But
but is there
it's-
just one agreement for, I mean, everybody living there has to come up with this same amount?
No, it was different.
I mean, that's
people were
amongst
paying
you guys,
different
but the agreement that she had was that she was going to be receiving, she says 2,500.
2,400.
Okay, but the
2,400.
agreement amongst yourselves would be that you would pay whatever.
Correct.
Okay. So
we had
the
to split
agreement amongst
between the
yourselves,
rooms.
the agreement between the tenants is not going to really be relevant to the agreement that was made with her.
No,
So
this was her agreement. This was she said it was a room and house. That's what she said when she came
So
to us.
you don't have a separate agreement. So the total rent for the whole house is $2,400, correct?
Correct. She
Okay.
stated when she came to evict us, get us out the home, she stated, this is a room home. She does what she wants because she still, if the room is not occupied, she can have the room. But to us, when Jamal Cobbs and Kenyatta Cobbs let us move in, it was their home. They had the whole home and they was renting out the rooms.
Separately. So
Separately.
you
Yes,
rented
ma'am.
from them and not her?
We never paid her. We paid them. We don't have a leasing
this
agreement with
is-
her. We have an agreement with them.
So this is like a sublease. Ms. Stalls, is that your, okay.
That is correct. That's my understanding. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So it doesn't sound like you have an actual landlord-tenant relationship with them. Sounds like you've got a landlord-tenant relate. I mean, you can, in terms of possession of the property, I can give you possession of the property. They are occupants of the property. So I feel like I can go ahead and give you possession of it, but I don't think I can give you a money judgment against these particular people because they don't have a relationship with you. I thought that at the beginning, but
Well, here's
now
the
it's
thing.
even more clear that you weren't even aware, like you didn't even contract.
I didn't know who they were or anything. Here's the thing: when they contacted me, because she contacted me and asked could she be okay with paying the rent late. All the other tenants had already stated that they were already moving out, but not until I got there. Once I got there, I gave them 3 days, the 3 days to pay or quit. The other tenants stated that they were leaving. They were the only ones that continued to stay, stated that they want their 30 days for an eviction.
Okay. All right. So Ms. Stalls, based on what I've heard,
Mhm.
I can't give you a money judgment, but I will issue a writ of possession in the case, which
Okay.
would mean, so Ms. Hollenquist and Mr. Scudder, and again, I'm going to give you guys a chance to respond to what I'm doing right now, but it sounds to me like I can't do a money judgment against you guys, but you are occupants of the property. She did go through the proper dispo notice, putting notice
And
on
they're
the door,
on the
let me finish. But again, I think you got, in terms of the writ, I think I can issue the writ, but I don't think I can give you a money judgment against you guys today, which means it would be that you guys need to vacate. I feel like she's made the demand for the property. So did you send them written notice that they needed to leave?
it was done verbally when the police was called. Yes, ma'am.
It was
Okay.
no written notice. She told us we had 3. She wanted everybody gone immediately. These were her words. She wanted everybody gone immediately. I said,
And when did she tell you
told
that?
us that was
She told
June
you-
the 6th when she made the police report.
Okay. All right.
On June the 6th.
She made a police report?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Because
yes,
I did
ma'am.
not
She made a police report.
know who the tenants were. I did not know any of their contact information, and I let them know that if they're gonna continue to stay here, they will be on the hook for paying the rent for that month because everybody else had vacated.
Well, the rent wasn't never the problem. The rent was never the problem. When you told us not to pay rent, you wanted everybody gone when you walked
Ms.
through the house.
Hollenquist, I don't even really need to hear about the rent anymore. It's really just about whether you guys should have a writ issued against you in 7 days. I'm not going to do a money judgment, so we're going to have to argue about that part of it. Okay. But essentially, I'm looking at letting her apply for a warrant within 7 days of today's date, which is next Thursday. It's a process. You have to apply for the writ. And then, it's not like the marshal's going to be showing up at the door, the next day or anything like that, but that's when she'd be able to start that process. What do you have to say about that? Like just focusing on the possession part of it.
That's fine by me.
Okay. Mr. Scudder, go ahead, sir.
I just wanted to state, like, even though you heard from her herself that rent was current during May. We contacted her on the 6th of June not to not pay her rent. I'm not trying to bring up rent, but I'm trying to say like I'm trying to see like what is the valid grounds of eviction.
She filed it based on non-payment, which is valid.
Right.
And I don't think you guys are going to deny that she hasn't received payment.
No,
Is that
she
correct?
No, we're
well
not
that
denying
she
that.
no, we're not saying
We
that
were
she didn't
told.
receive
One
payment
person
on
at a
June
time.
in June. We didn't she didn't receive payment in June because she said, I don't want anybody to pay me any money. I want y'all to
Right.
leave today.
Right. She didn't want to have to. She wanted to be able to file the eviction. She wanted you guys to leave. So you guys
Okay.
admit that rent was not paid in June, correct?
Right, correct.
Right.
Okay. And she asked you guys to vacate the property.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
So I think she can get, like I said, I'm not going to do the money judgment because I think you guys had that contract with your roommates. It doesn't sound like you had a direct relationship with her. But I do think you guys need to vacate the property.
And that's what we are planning on and getting done as we speak.
Okay.
Your Honor.
Okay.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
I can only give you 7 days from today's date. Like I
Yes,
said, it'll
ma'am.
just be a possession only. It's not going to be a money judgment. So, because I just don't think there's been established a landlord-tenant relationship between the parties. So for that reason, I will make it just possession only. Okay, but that just means she'd be able to apply for writ of possession at 11:59 p.m. on Thursday, July 10th, meaning that really realistically the next day would be when she could apply for the actual writ and get that process started. Does everybody understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I understand.
Yes,
That.
ma'am.
All right, hold on.
I understand. However, I don't agree with the 7 days because ain't nobody paid rent. So now, like, it's
I have to give them something. They're entitled to 7 days. That they're going to be entitled
so
to the
because
7
they're
days from
staying there
today.
for the next 7 days, they're not entitled to pay.
Correct. You don't have a landlord-tenant relationship with these people. I'll give you possession of your property. I'm not challenging you too much on those grounds. I think, you're trying to get your property back. I'm willing to let you get your property back, but I'm not going to issue the money judgment. If anybody disagrees with my decision, okay, you are more than welcome to file something called a petition for review. A petition for review is essentially an appeal, but for a dispossessor, you have to file it. It's either to the state or the Superior Court of DeKalb County. You have to file it within 7 days of me entering the order. Hopefully I'll get the order done tonight, but if it doesn't get done tonight, maybe tomorrow. But as soon as there's whatever the date is that the order is entered, you have 7 days from that date to file the petition for review. There is a PDF on the Magistrate Court website explains on how to do that. So you can review it, and either party, if you feel that I'm making the wrong decision, you are more than welcome to file that document again. But there is a quick timeline on it. Again, please be cognizant for dispossessories. You got to do stuff quicker. You have to do it within 7 days of the order being entered. Okay. The goal will be to get it done tonight so that you guys will have it and it can do what you need to do. So again, if you guys don't agree with me, that's not a problem. You just need to file a petition for review in order to have it reviewed by a higher court. And that's it. So that will be the order of the court. And you guys are free to log off. Have a nice rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoy watching this content, please like and subscribe. It helps new channels like this one gain exposure. There is a lot more good court to come, so if you like what you saw, tell your friends. If you didn't, tell me, and let me know what you'd like to see and how I can improve. Thanks.